What's poppin', fish keepers, shrimp keepers, and 10-gallon fish tank fanatics? Welcome back to another video. I'm here with Zion today, and I hope you guys like it raw.
Give it to us raw and wriggling.
Because today's video is going to be raw, unedited footage, and we're going to be building this $1,000 guppy rack so we can start the newest breeding project. Zion, say hello to the people. He's doing really well, been eating really good. Super lovable little dude, and he's getting very comfortable. He loves being out and hanging out and interacting, and he's definitely a fan favorite. When people come over here, they get excited to see him. So let's get this show on the road. We're going to cut back to a couple days ago, and then we're going to start building this rack. Zion, peace out, buddy. All right, so now I'm going to show you guys what this video is all about, which is Guppy Nation. Rise up. It's time to rise up, guys. We are starting a guppy breeding tank. Like I was talking about a little earlier, along the bottom here, you can see we got 4 rows of 10-gallon tanks. We're doing 4 different types of guppies in those tanks, and then as we breed them and we get fry, the fry are going to go in the tanks up top here. As some of you know, if you've been watching my channel, I have my favorite guppy, which is the tuxedo koi guppy, already in my 84-inch rack I have over here, and this is the 48-inch Kobalt rack. So if you haven't watched it already, go check out my video, how I built my $10,000 fish room. It's on my channel, has about 14,000 views right now, and it takes you through this 84-inch Kobalt rack build and how I did it and how I bred fish to help pay for that and sold fish to help pay for that rack. Now we're taking all these sales that we're getting, and we're expanding into 2 more racks. So we got this rack right here, 48 inches. We got Zion, our little mascot, our ball python. He's a banana het pied. He's not for sale. We have him hanging out over here. And then we're gonna do another rack, 48-inch rack right here as well. This is gonna be a quarantine rack at the bottom, and then 5 more 5-gallon tanks along the middle. And we're doing a surprise animal on the top as well. So stay tuned for that. But Guppy Nation. So we have 5 5-gallon tanks at the top. So the tuxedo koi guppies, as we get fry, one of them is going to go in one of the extra tanks. And then as we get fry from each of the new types of guppies I'm going to be getting on this channel, they're going to go in that tank. As they grow up, start raising up, I have a 75-gallon tank that any of the ones that don't meet my standard, they will get thrown in the 75-gallon and be sold for cheap. Usually I sell the calls for $1. So that's the plan for Guppy Nation. And that's what we're going to be building today, and I'm going to take you guys through the build. Just like I had that video showing you guys how I built the 78, I did that one at the end. This one, you're going to physically see me build this whole rack in just one video. And you can do this too. You can get these racks right at Lowe's, not super expensive. I want to say this rack's only like 150 bucks. You get some 1/2-inch plywood, or you can do 3/4-inch plywood. I paint it black, but we'll get into the full build. But first, let me package up these online orders and send them out to USPS. Then we need to run the store, get the rest of the supplies we need, and then we're going to start this build. First things first, we are going to ship out the frog bit. This is a staple. I grow this in every single one of my tanks. It helps take out the nitrates. It does a lot of beneficial things for your aquarium, and we sell a good amount of it. So we're going to ship those out. Everybody gets a little pricing list, shows my kind of everything I have on my website, has my social media links. That way, if they're buying off eBay and they don't know who I am, it sends them to my YouTube, to my website, all that, so I can get repeat customers, repeat business, and continue to market from them if they had a good experience. Then I'm shipping out some fish as well, and that comes with the acclimation guide, and it's shipped from USPS Priority. So we got 6 Kubatai green rasboras that we're shipping out, and those are going to be going to Linnea. And she lives in Cotton Grove, Minnesota. So that'll be cool. And then we have the frog bait going to Anthony over there in Wisconsin. We got Eric in California and Rosemead, California. And then we have Andrew in Nantucket, Massachusetts. So all of your orders are being packaged up right now. Let me get them packaged up, and we'll take them over to the post office. Then we're going to go pick up the rest of the supplies we need to finish off this 48-inch guppy rack we're building.
Yeah. Size don't matter, it's how you escape it, dog. 10-gallon drip, underwater, y'all. case. Shrimp cleaning up snail.
Just arrived to Petco. I dropped off the packages, and it's always funny. Whenever I drop packages off at the post office, people always see the live fish sticker and they want to talk to me. So I just talked to two guys, super cool. One of them actually does, he has like a little glass business that he started out of a storage unit, and now it's like his full-time thing, which is pretty cool. But he was like super captivated that I could ship fish, that I run a fish YouTube channel, and that I'm running a fish online business. He's like, man, go keep crushing it, keep doing it. It's super awesome. So it's cool meeting people like that who are supportive, awesome, uplifting. But let's go pick up this tank. Petco's running a half off sale. Final tank acquired. It's a 5.5 gallon Imagitarium tank. I had one 5.5 gallon Aquarium tank. It just looked weird because the dimensions are slightly different. So I want this rack to look really clean and good. So we're going with all the same types of tanks on the rack. That way everything's uniform and consistent and the same. It's going to look really clean and nice. So first things first, we need to figure out how we want to start this build. Most live day for me because we've got 1 day to do this. And then I'm back to work on my normal job after a 2-week vacation. So what we're going to do, we're going to throw these drop cloths down. I'm thinking we'll tape up all the tanks, get those painted. We're going to build the backdrop, get that painted, and get the 1/2-inch plywood and paint that. That way it can all start drying, and once it's drying and done, then I can work on installing, while it's drying, we can install the lighting, and we can install the new power strip, things like that. So that's my course of action, I believe, is what we're going to do this morning. But first, we got a protein drink by Bucked Up. If you guys haven't tried them, grab one. Pretty good. It's clear protein. Doesn't have any lactose. All right. Let's do this thing. It's going to be a fun project today. We got 2 drop cloths. I'm actually working on setting up a plant room. That's the next thing that we are expanding into. My wife's really good with houseplants. So we repainted one of our rooms upstairs, and turning it into a houseplant room. So we're gonna be doing a bunch of houseplant propagations. You guys will see it on 10gallonfishtanks.com. And I'll be coming out with a video on that as well here in the near future. But in the meantime, we're setting this drop cloth down. We got a lot of tanks to paint and a lot of wood to paint. So we're gonna need these drop cloths put down and ready to go. So we have enough space for all of it. There's drop cloth 1. And spread this one out over here. Perfect. Drop cloth number 2. All right. That is good to go. Slide this out of our way. All right. First things first. Got to pull all these tanks off, and I want to paint this plywood. So we'll grab all our 5-gallon tanks, and we'll set them down over here to the right. I don't know about for you guys, but for me, sometimes these projects can be a little bit daunting when you're doing 9 tanks, you're painting them all. We're not going to be drilling, just painting. It can be a little daunting. I've been pushing this off for a little bit because I've been doing a lot of maintenance, tearing tanks down upstairs. And with how many tanks I've been doing so quickly, it can start to burn you out a little bit. I love building tanks, I love setting them up. I think it's just the painting part that kind of gets to me sometimes. It's a little tedious. You got to tape everything up, paint it perfectly, let it dry. But it's always a lot of fun. All right, we got 2 more 10-gallon tanks. Like I said, guys, these are all vegetarian. I wanted them all to be the same so they look good. But we've got these all good to go. All right. We're going to pull this off here. And we've got the snake. We'll pad monitor. As you guys can see here, this is 23 inches by 42. So we're gonna paint this. Set this down here and grab some of these 2x4s. We're gonna be cutting these here in the near future to build the backdrop. Set that down and now take our plywood and set it across. Perfect. That's set. Now let's get the next one. We'll grab some more 2x4s. And do the same thing here. You definitely have to use the plywood because this metal racking system isn't going to be strong enough to hold water. So it's probably going to be at least 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch plywood. Okay. I'm going to dust these off real quick with a towel and then we will start painting these things. I don't know about you guys, but I really like painting all my tanks black. Just gives it a nice clean look. Comment down below what other colors you guys like to paint tanks. I see a lot of people do blue. My last live stream, somebody said they did frosted. They use like the window frost to do it. What is your guys' favorite color of tank? I like painting them just because it hides all the cords, looks cleaner. It looks good on camera. We need some more protein here. Ooh, these drinks are good. All right, let's get the paint ready and start rolling it on. Nice and smooth.
In the rat race, Java Moss waving like a green flag. Better looking fly with that royal swag. LED glow like a night.
Got the plywood all painted on one side. We'll do a second coat once this dries. In the meantime, we need to start taping these tanks up. So I always use duct tape. I like to use the 2-inch one, makes it nice and easy. What we gotta do first here is we gotta get a paper towel and wipe the tank off, get all the dirt off it, and then we can start applying the painter's tape to the tanks. So we'll go inside for a second and I'll show you how I tape one of these up, then I'll do the rest off camera because you don't need to see me taping up 9 tanks and spending hours doing it. So let's do that real quick. First things first, we need to grab a damp paper towel. So let me make this damp here. These have been sitting in the garage. They've also been sitting at Petco. So they probably have some dust on them. So we're gonna wipe them down on the outside and inside. And while we're doing this, just check and make sure there's no cracks, any issues with your tank. Last thing you want to do is paint a tank and it's leaky or has a defect that's not going to hold water, and then you got to go. You can't really return it at that point. So right now is the time to catch it. And if you catch it, you can return it and get your money back. Right. Inside is getting cleared up. 5 gallons are pretty easy because they're so small. It gets a little bit annoying, a little bit more challenging when you're doing bigger tanks. But these 5-10 gallon tanks, pretty quick and easy once you get it down. It's not a challenge at all, really. All right, so while I'm looking at this, I like to do the tanks long-wise, lengthwise, so you only see the small little corner. That allows me to fit more tanks on my rack. So looking at this, it looks like this left side is the one that I want to be unpainted that you can view through. So we're gonna start taping up everything except for this side because that side is not gonna get painted black. All the other sides will. So we're gonna get some tape here. And I'm not the most careful when it comes to this. Now, if you really wanna make your tanks look pristine and next level, you can spend a lot of time really taping these things up. For me, it's more just cover the plastic as much as possible. And as long as I've done that effectively, I'm good. Even if it gets a little bit on my plastic, it's fine. Biggest thing, just make sure the paint doesn't get inside your tank because that would be very detrimental to what you're trying to do here. Obviously kill your fish. So, don't want that. One side is done. Rotate the tank around. Remember, this side right here is the side that we're not going to be painting. It's going to be our clear side for our customer to be able to view through and for me to be able to view through. And then all the other sides we're going to paint black. These new Magitarium tanks have a little bit of a thinner rim than the Aquarium tanks, which I kind of like. Makes them look a little more high-end. It's going to be interesting to see how they hold up. Hopefully they'll hold up just as good as the Aquariums, because that's what I've been using on my 84-inch rack. But they aren't selling those anymore at Petco. These are the new tanks that they're selling, so got to roll with what we got. They do look clean. It's just time will tell how well they hold up for us. Okay. Top is all good. Now we're going to flip this tank over upside down, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. I always tell people, when I got into the fish hobby, I didn't realize I was going to be doing so many arts and crafts. I hated arts and crafts as a kid, and now it's what I do for fun. So kind of funny how that plays out. And we got the last one to do on this side. And line it up perfectly there. Bam. Put these around the edges. Around the edges. Okay, the last part is the part that you want to be as careful as possible with. And once again, we said side facing me is the side that we're going to be taping up. So we're doing 2 rows of tape, one on each side, and I'll flip the tank around to show you guys. But this is where you want to be careful, because we want to make sure no black paint gets on the front of your aquarium. So we get down in here and really need to make sure that we run this and effectively attach this painter's tape so that no black paint can get through. There we go. Bam. Nice and secure right there. Flip this up over underneath. Flip this one up and over. All right, that one side's good. We got one more side to do. Make sure you give yourself a little extra painter's tape so you can flip it on through on the top and on the bottom. Okay, gotta line this up perfectly right there. Secure it. And bam. First tank is done, and that's what it's going to look like. That's the front side of the tank, making sure the black paint doesn't get on it. All the edges taped up. Now we're going to use a roller, and I'll show you guys that here in a second, and we will paint all the sides. I'll leave the bottom unpainted and the very front unpainted, because we're going to be doing black sand, so you're not going to see the bottom anyway. Tank is now taped up. I'm not going to take you guys along for the rest of them. I'm going to go ahead and quickly tape them up. But first, my beautiful, amazing wife made me some waffles. We're going to eat some waffles real quick. Waffle maker is having a little bit of issues, but it's going to taste amazing. I'm excited. And then we will get back into the garage and keep the process going. All right, all right, all right. So we now have both the 1/2 inch plywood cut and done. We got the tanks all taped up. Now we need to start painting them. They're going to need probably like 3 layers of paint. So this is going to take a really long time to dry. So thankfully, we're going to move these boards up here. And then we're going to take these 2x4s they're sitting on. And we're going to develop, create, design, you name it. We're going to make the backdrop. Just like our 84-inch rack has the whole backdrop to hide all the cords. Doing the same thing on this rack as well. So let's double check. Yep, it's dry. Oh, that side isn't. That side is still wet. Let me see if the other side. This side's good. Cool. Yep, good to go, good to go. Perfect. All right, we're gonna throw this down over here. Oh, almost dropped it. Once again, I have this cut for this rack. It is cut to 23 inches in depth and 42 inches in length. It fits perfectly on there. All right, let's grab the next one. Yep, good to go, good to go. This one's going to go on the very bottom down here. Get that all lined up. Perfect. And our plywood is all set. Let me show you guys real quick. Here we go. You can see 1/2-inch plywood painted black, just like the snake enclosure, Zion's enclosure. Same thing here and here. That provides enough support because the little metal racking is not going to be enough support for all the water. So we're good to go. Now we need to paint all these tanks. So we're going to do that next here. And then we're going to create the backdrop with this 2x4. So let me get the tank set up and we'll start painting.
Club flick, roots deep down like they vibing to the kick. I got that driftwood thrown in a cave.
While the tanks are drying for their first coat, like I said, I'm probably going to need to do 3 or 4 coats on these tanks. We are going to measure out the stand. We got a bunch of 2x4s. Now, they're not actually 2x4s. It's like 3.5 inches. So we're going to measure off 2 of these are going to need to be 7.5 inches in on the cut right there and right here. So we're going to cut 7 inches off 2 of these pieces. And we'll do it on this one as well. And this is going to be creating the backdrop for us, which it makes the tanks, really elevates your setup, because I see a lot of people have the exposed cords everywhere. When you can get those cords hidden, it's going to take your game to the next level. All right. Got those marked out. Not the most accurate, but it's the best of my ability. As you guys can see, I'm not very the most handy person, but I do the best I can with what I got. So we'll grab 2 of these and prop them up. Okay, got it propped up here, and we just bought a saw. So I'm going to try it out for the first time. Every time I use a saw, I get a little scared. Anybody else out there like worried you're going to accidentally cut a limb off or something? Let's hope not. All right. Be very mindful here. And we're going to give this a go. All right, first cut is done. Now we're going to do the other one. All right, let's take the battery off. We made it through without cutting any fingers or hands off, so that's good. Okay, so we can now have the 2 short pieces that we don't need. We can discard these. Got a bunch of sawdust, which not the most ideal with painting tanks, but is what it is. And now we got our shorter pieces. So what we're going to do here is, oh, and I found a staple. Throw that away. All right, so now we're going to set up the actual stand itself. We need to find our big screws. I believe I left them over here. Let's find out. Pop this thing open, see what we got in here. Yep, here we go. Yes, sir. So we're going to use these. I'll show you. So we're using 12 by 5 by 5/8. I'm going to use those and drill our stand together. All right. Let's see here how we want to do it. All right, give it a shot. Move this paint out of the way. All right. Get them all lined up here for us. And we'll grab our screwdriver. And give this a go. Hopefully, this works out perfectly. According to my measurements, it should, but I've been known to be wrong before. I'll switch out to a different piece. Oh, there it is. Perfect. Let's get this set up right. All right, first one's in. Pretty simple. Let's get the second one. All right, second one is in. Ouch. Just got a splinter. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. Do 2 on each side just to hold it in place. All right. All right, one more. Perfect. All right, so we got one side attached. However, it did kind of crack our 2x4 on this side, which is not good. Damn. All right, well, let's see if it looks the right length. Yeah. Cool. All right. Here's the right length. We just cracked one of the 2x4s, so that's not ideal at all. All right, I'll try this side. Nice snug fit in here. There we go. Perfect. Move this ladder out of the way. Okay, we'll try this again and hopefully this time not crack the wood. We'll go a little lower this time just to make sure. Perfect. Got that one in nice and smoothly. Got another one here. Okay. Awesome. That side is in. Now we just got 2 more screws to do. For some reason I find putting these screws in super satisfying. Just feels rewarding. I like it. Right, last side here. And one more. All right. Stand is built. Now let's make sure it is the right size. Oh yeah. That's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Awesome. Okay. Now we need to get a marker, and I'm going to mark up. We got to do one more row, one more 2x4, right down the middle pipe. So let's line it up here. Here and here, and then perfect. All right, got this thing good to go. Now we do need to cut one more piece, and it's got to be the same 41 inches, because each of these outside pieces are 48, and then inside's 41. So let's grab one more piece. All right, got one more for the show. A couple screws in here we got to take out first. There's one. And ouch. There we go. 2. Got all the screws out. Now we got to measure this thing again. Needs to be 7 inches off. Needs to be 41 inches in length. Get the measuring tape and the marker. Always forgetting stuff. Oh, there it is. Put the marker over here. All right. 7.5 inches. Or 7. Double check actually how I cut these. All right, so that is 40.5. So we did cut off 7.5. So we got to do 7.5 on this one as well. Ouch. Constantly almost cutting myself, guys. Perfect. All measured and good to go. Get the saw again. And we're going to use these little cut-off pieces to hold it up. All right. Nice and carefully, everything's clear. Perfect. Battery out. Saw is safe. And see if it fits. Oh yeah, like a glove. That is perfect. All right, now we're gonna put the screws into this thing. Move these guys out of the way. Throw this guy back down. All right. Gotta get this thing all lined up properly. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Just like that. All right, 2 screws needed. Let's get those screws. And did accidentally get a little wood chip on one of the tanks. So do this in a separate room, guys. But we got a couple more coats, so it's gonna be fine. All right, go right here. One in. Now for the second. There we go. Bam. Whew. Got me sweating up in here. All right. And 2 more. And last one. All right, got her done. Let me show you guys the finished product here. That's how you make the backdrop. Let me double check that it's the right size over here. Oh yeah, that is absolutely perfect. Nailed it. For someone who's not very handy and good at this stuff, I get kind of lucky a lot. One other thing I did is I went ahead and propped these up so I can go ahead and start painting them. But if you see here, I drilled out a 3/8 inch hole. I just measured it against my rack and drilled out 3/8 inch hole on the bottom and top on each side. And then we are going to be using some hardware to attach this to the rack on the back side. So we'll do that in a second, but we're going to paint this first.
For the crew, Lil Corey swimming by like what it do. Size don't matter, it's how you escape it, wag. Rock the tip.
Starting to storm outside. We got a bit of a thunder and lightning storm happening coming out of nowhere, but it's Nashville. Power went out. Once again, though, I have the battery backup air pumps from Aquarium Co-op, so no concerns for me. I got about 48 hours or 24 to 48 hours to be good if the power completely goes out, so no worries here. That said, we have the backdrop painted one side. We're going to flip it over and paint the other side, and then all these tanks are now painted. While this is drying, we do need to do a little touch-up work, so we got to get the little brush and do touch-ups around the edges on the tanks. But while this is drying, we're going to go ahead and install the Hydra lights. On my last build, the 84-inch rack back behind me here, we had the, if you can see them right up here, Aquarium Co-op lights. Those are the ones I like. There's no more in stock, so I had to go with something a little cheaper, and it's something that might be a little bit more affordable for most of you. Some of you might not want to spend as much money for the Aquarium Co-op lights, so we are doing the Hydra lights. So we're going to get those unboxed, and I'm going to show you guys how to install them. Have the Hydra light unboxed. This is the 48-inch Hydra light. The one right below it was just a little bit too small, so we got to go with the full 48, even though 42 would have been perfect, but I didn't see a 42. I will pop the link in the description below for this light, and as the years go on, I'll let you guys know how it does. It's about, I want to say it was about 60 bucks, 70 bucks for a 48-inch light, which is a pretty good deal. If you guys noticed, I put the little adjustable part right here upside down because we're going to have the light facing downwards, and we're going to attach zip ties here underneath. So I'll kind of show you what I'm thinking. But we'll throw it down right up in here, under here, and we'll attach it via zip ties, and we'll even put this right here towards the middle of the rack, and that should provide pretty good lighting. So let's get this show on the road and get it installed. These are the zip ties I got. I get them from Home Depot or Lowe's, 100 count, and it has a 75-pound tensile strength. So this is the zip ties I used on the last rack, and I'm going to use it on this rack as well. So let's see what we can do here. Throw one through here, and going to attach it. You guys can hear storms going crazy out there right now. Got one attached. Attach the other one. Perfect. Now we're going to grab two more. And do the same thing on this side. It's a little crowded over here. Adjust the zip ties to the sides. There we go. So we can shift this in this way. There we go. Perfect. Now we're going to attach this one as well. And feed it through here. There we go. Got one attached. Now for the other side. Awesome. Okay. Now we just want to find a good spot for it. I'm thinking probably right about there is going to be perfect. So we're going to tighten this up a little bit and make sure that we have it exactly how we want it. Shift it forward just a little bit because these are only 5-gallon tanks, so they don't go super far back. So we're going to want to shift this up, probably right there. All right, tighten this thing down. I like to keep the light towards the back of the tank. Helps reduce the amount of algae that gets on the front. So if we ever need to adjust it, thankfully it's zip ties, so we can just cut the zip tie and adjust the light as needed. All right. Bam. That side's set. Let me get a tape measure real quick because we want it about the same length on both sides. Okay. We're looking at about 5 inches from the front. Bring that attachment in 5 inches. There we go. Start tightening it down here. And this one's a lot easier actually than the 84-inch rack. The 84 was a lot more challenging to do. Double check, remeasure one more time. Need about 5 inches from the front. So about like right there. Perfect. Look at it underneath, make sure it looks pretty even. And cool thing is with how this design is, you can actually, the zip ties are loose enough, you can actually slide the light a little bit as needed, which is kind of awesome. Perfect. All right, I'm going to show you guys this real quick. Let me first cut off the excess that we have. Excess zip ties. There's 1, 2. Cut that a little smaller. There we go. And cut the other side. And like I said, you can kind of shift this thing back and forth as needed. Cool. Let me take you up on a closer look. And there you have it. We got the light plugged in and turned on. You can see the 48-inch Hygger light just right up top here. It's a little bit, if you look, it's a little bit more of like a bright blue light compared to a more sun-colored light from Aquarium Co-op. Now you can adjust the brightness up and down. It does also, cool thing, have built-in timer. So you can adjust how long you want it to run, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8, 10, 12. You can have the start and stop. You can have the time when it starts and stops, 24/7. You can adjust the brightness up and down. So like we can adjust it down if we want to. Just makes it a lot more dim. Or adjust it back up. I usually run mine around 60% of power, 50 to 60%. And for now, we're just going to leave it up all the way. Now, other cool thing with how I have these zip ties, and if you can see, it just has it zip tied to the upside down little stand part, right? Which is perfect. Got it zip tied. But you can shift this forward and back, which allows you to adjust your light placement as needed, which is kind of cool. So like if you want your light to be placed more towards the back, you can shift it to the back. If you want it more towards the front, you can shift it forward. So with this design, the cool thing is your light can be adjusted to wherever you want it, whenever you want it, which is awesome. We have one more light to go ahead and install, so I'm going to do that now off camera, and then that will be set, and then we'll come check in on this paint, see if it's dried up enough, because we're getting close. Now with the lights installed, we can start doing the backdrop once we got that fully painted, and we can go ahead and start putting tanks on there and putting filters and get everything ready to go. So we're not too far off. It's just letting the paint dry, and then we'll be good to go. Got the final light installed. If you guys see over here, I'll show you. I removed the little inserts because the way this one's designed, we had to do zip ties right up here with the main pole. We did a zip tie around the light and then 2 zip ties. If I can get it to focus, there we go. 2 zip ties around the pole to hold it up. And so we didn't need the little hanging part on the end because it's not like this one where we could slide it back and forth. There wasn't anything to attach there. So that's why we had to set it up the way we did. But we got it attached to both sides there, and it's good to go. All right, now let's go check in on these guys, see if we need to do any extra touch-ups, and then we can start putting them on the rack. Next thing we're going to be doing here is installing the backdrop. So we got the backdrop wood all painted. We got the cloth laid out how we want it, and I'm going to screw in this first screw right here to hold the cloth in place, and then we will go from there. So put a hole in it. There we go. All right. There we go. Got the first one in place right there, and we're going to be doing screws all the way across the top.
Gallon like 100-gallon hog. Little tank blinging like a treasure in the fog. Aquascape legend, yeah, I'm breaking every log. Escape it like a king.
There you have it. We have the full backdrop now painted all black. We got the cloth attached, and got the holes drilled so we'll attach it onto the rack. And then if you look back here, we got the screws for each side. And this allows you to have the cords hidden in the back without you really being able to see it, which is pretty awesome. So now we just need to attach this thing to the back over here. And we have a couple pieces that we are going to be using. So we got washers, and we got nuts and bolts. 3/8 inch. Once again, everything can be found for this build in the link in the description below. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this thing on. Got the back installed, so we use a nut and bolt and a washer to be able to install it. So you got the washer right here, nut, and then the bolt comes right through to hold it on top. And then we got the same thing down here as well. That's holding on the back on both sides. And then we used zip ties to get the cables up, hidden away, and they go down and back. And then they pop around through here. And then once we have the tanks here, this backdrop is going to hide all the cables as well. And same thing here. We got it all zip tied up, coming down and popping out here. And then we installed a power strip attached to the wood to attach everything into. So now it's time to see if these tanks are dry. If so, we'll get them on the rack and start filling them up.
In the bag, let the air pump sing. Fish roll deep, swimming in the ring. Shrimp in formation, doing their thing.
CO2 popping, plants going crazy. Pearling so bright, got the water feeling hazy. Sponge filter low-key humming like a beat, while my odors eat algae like it's gourmet meat. Frog tanks in with the monkfish stare. Surface tension tighter than a fresh fade hair. Scoop that skate with precision and grace. Rocking 88 soil like it's black gold.
There you have it. We got the 5.5 gallon tanks and the 4 10-gallon tanks all blacked out with the black curtain behind, back black drop, cobalt rack, 1/2-inch plywood painted black, and then got the whole backdrop, everything set up properly here. The other cool thing is with these lights, if you ever want to switch the colors, you can also adjust the colors on them as well. Red, green, has sunset, sunrise mode, all that stuff, which I'll never use, but it's kind of cool to have. All right, let's fill it up with sand.
10 gallons, that's a palace if you know the vibe. Aquatic feng shui, every scape got tried. From Guppy to Rasbora, my scene's so alive. It's not about the size, man, it's how you...
Black sand in here now. And we did this instead of the aqua soil, just because this was only about 30 bucks for the whole setup here versus aqua soil, which was $700. So more cost effective for sure, and is what I'm going to be using on the rest of my build throughout as I build this garage out. We're going to continue to use the black diamond sand as long as it goes well. Now it's time to install all the aquarium co-op stuff. So if you guys see here, I got the new blacked out easy flow sponges in size small. These are the coarse sponges, and then I have the Ziz like little air control valve. I got a check valve, and then we have these aquarium co-op battery backup air pumps. So we're going to get this all set up. I'm going to show you guys the first one, and then I'll do the rest of them off camera. But I do also have a snail trap as well. This is the fun part where we get to put together the sponge filters. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. It's really not that difficult, but if it's your first time setting up a sponge filter, might be a little bit confusing for you. So first off, Easy Flow blacked out sponge filter. It's the new one from Aquarium Co-op. If you guys have looked at my 84-inch rack, I have the green ones, and this is the new one they just launched. So these 48-inch racks, we're doing all blacked out sponge filters, which is pretty cool. So open this bag up. And one of the cool things when you get Aquarium Co-op sponge filters, get a little sticker with it as well. Set that to the side. All right, so you got your Easy Flow mechanism. You got your airline tubing, and you have a lot of airline tubing, so you can set it up as much as you need. But for 10-gallon tanks, this is all you need right here, okay? Now, there's a short side right here, and then there's the long side. You want the short side at the top. It's going to face away from the little airline tubing holes and grid. We're going to push it down in, all the way down. Now, if we need to adjust it, we can adjust up and down right here, okay? This is going to clip onto your sponge filter. All right, now we got it all set. This thing's looking really clean. I love it. And then we're going to get ourselves some airline tubing. You can get some from Petco, or you can get some from Aquarium Co-op. I have the 300-yard spool. And I don't like to attach the airline tubing to the top here yet, because it's going to have to adjust it based on your tank. So if you want to attach it, you can wait to attach it till later. But give yourself a generous amount, probably about 2 feet. Now don't go too long, because the longer you go, the less air pressure you get, harder it is on your sponge filter. So we got like 2 feet of airline tubing. There we go. Next thing is check valve. Open the check valve up, and it has an arrow on it. You want to make sure the arrow is pointing on the airline when it's connected in your airline tubing, pointing towards the sponge filter, pointing away from your air pump. Let's test it, make sure it works. Makes a little whistling noise, we're good. If it didn't work, you'd take a little like screwdriver, a little object, you'd push it down in there and get it to bust it open. Bam. Okay. Figured that out because these were not working for me quite a bit, and I thought they were useless, and contacted customer service. They told me to use something to open it up, and it worked. So it was kind of cool. All right, you're going to push this down on nice and snug. And then we're going to do another piece of airline tubing right here. Push that one on nice and snug. There we go. And then I like to give just a small amount right there. And we're going to open up the Ziz air valve. This allows you to adjust the pressure of your air pump. Allows you to make it flow harder or softer. So definitely recommend this. The check valve is going to prevent backflow. So if your pump's turned off or something happened, water can't flow out and drain your tank out, which would be disastrous. Could kill all your fish. Attach this little Ziz nozzle on here. And now it's going to look just like that. Open up the battery backup air pump from Aquarium Co-op. You can use any. I just like these because if the power goes out, that kicks in, and you have about, I believe it's about 40 hours or 48 hours of power going to your tanks. So between that and a generator, you really have no worries in your fish room. So if you have a lot of fish, even if you don't, and you just care about your fish, which you should get yourself a battery backup air pump. I think it's just nice to have. Yes, it's a little more expensive, but in my opinion, it's well worth the money. When a disaster happens, you're gonna be thankful you got it. Okay, plug this thing in. This will plug into the wall. We can see it's already on, and it's gonna need a charge. However, we're now gonna get some more airline tubing here. And we don't need a whole lot, probably about a foot. Connect it to your Ziz knob, and then this will connect to the nipple on the air pump. Okay. Make sure it's nice and secure and snug. And there you go. That's how you set up a sponge filter, and quick and easy. I'll show you guys it in action once I get all the tanks set up with water. You'll see it flowing. But yeah, that's all there is to it. Great thing is you don't have to switch out cartridges or things like that with hang-on backs. Just a sponge. When it gets dirty, pull this off, rinse it out, and then put it back in. But you really only need to do that twice a year probably, because these really are pretty much good to go for quite a long time.
Size don't matter, it's how you escape it drag. Rock the 10-gallon like a 100-gallon hog. Little tank blinging like a treasure in the fog. Aquascape legend, yeah, I'm breaking every log.
Escape it like a king. Bubbles in the back, let the air pump sing. Fish roll deep, they don't need no bling. Shrimp and form.
Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully this was helpful for you. Like I said, go into the link. There's a whole description on how to build this. Follow the video if you want to build this with me. And you can see I'm topping the tanks off right now. Going to get them filtering, and then we are getting Guppy Nations. 4 new types of guppies in here with the top rows for the fry, and we're going to start growing them out. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Once again, go ahead and follow me on 10 Gallon Fish Tanks Facebook page, www.10gallonfishtanks.com, and then also we have the National Fish Keeper group. Go join that group. It's a fun, positive group that shares photos of their tanks and answers and helps each other with different aquarium related questions. Also, I do have a membership, so if you want a little bit more access to me, join my membership for $1 a month. You can get access to my exclusive Facebook page. You also get live streams, member only live streams. For $4.99 you get 10% off my website. Same thing as with the original one, plus early access to all the videos I drop. You get them, see them before everybody else does. So check it out below. Also have descriptions of all the different products I use as well in the link in the description below, so check those out. And if you want shrimp, snails, or fish, I am now shipping them out. So check my website out, see if there's anything you like. Everything I get goes through a quarantine process before I ship them out. Make sure they're healthy. If they're not healthy, I'm not going to ship them to you. So if you want to support me that way as well, or you need some good quality fish, check my website out. And once again, link in the description below. As always, hope you guys have an amazing week, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.
What's up, yo?
Buddy.
Need some fish, bro? Then you gotta go to the 10-gallon fish pro. 10-gallon, yeah. Fish tanks, yeah. 10-gallon, yeah. Fish tanks. All day long. Shrimp, blue shrimp, yellow shrimp too. Green shrimp, orange shrimp, and a snowball zoo. We got fish, y'all. We got fish, dog. We got it all. Tuxedo koi, guppy, white cloud, minnow, long fin, white cloud, pygmy corridora, panda cory, stir by cory, albino cory, coolie loach, green cuba, tyrus boris, celestial pearl danio, and emerald dwarfers bora, pea puffer, clown, killie, sparkling goat or me.